Welcome to Hidden Finance, the channel where economics and finance reveal their most hidden secrets. Today we'll uncover a new mystery that has shaped global markets and influenced the economy. Some ideas are so revolutionary that they seem, to the eyes of contemporaries, to be outright scams. The story we are about to tell takes place in early 18th century France, a time when the country was on the brink of economic collapse. Military expenditures had drained the state's coffers, public debt was out of control, and the economy was suffocating under unsustainable taxes. In this dramatic scenario, a daring economist sought to propose a radical solution, but his plans took an unexpected turn. This is the story of John Law, the world's first central banker, whose audacity plunged France into financial chaos. John Law was born in Edinburgh, Scotland, on April 21, 1671. His father, William Law, was a renowned goldsmith, a profession that at the time involved not only working with precious metals, but also financial activities like lending money. Young John grew up closely observing his father's operations, and though he didn't follow in his footsteps as a goldsmith, he absorbed a deep understanding of credit and finance. Gifted with extraordinary mathematical abilities, Law proved from a young age to be a natural talent in calculation and risk management. However, Edinburgh was too small for his ambitions. At that time, the city did not offer many opportunities for someone as driven as he was. So, upon his father's death in 1692, John decided to leave Scotland to seek his fortune in London, a vibrant city full of opportunities. In London, John Law quickly made a name for himself. Besides his sharp intelligence, Law was known for his passion for gambling, an interest he pursued with great skill. But unlike many gamblers of his time, Law did not rely solely on luck. He was a calculator, a gambler with a talent for probabilities, almost a precursor to modern card-counting systems. He used his mathematical skills to calculate odds in his favor, demonstrating a unique ability to manage risk and maximize gains. However, his passion for the high life led him to an episode that would change his life forever. On April 9, 1694, John Law participated in a duel at Bloomsbury Square, an event that was not uncommon among young aristocrats of the time but was nonetheless illegal. During the duel, Law killed his opponent, an event that led to his arrest and a death sentence. Fortunately for him, he managed to have the sentence commuted to manslaughter thanks to his defense skills and the influence of money. After a brief period in prison, Law was released on the payment of a substantial bail. This episode marked his definitive departure from England. After leaving England, John Law moved to the European continent, where he immersed himself in the study of the most advanced banking systems of the time. Upon arriving in Amsterdam, he discovered a banking system that immediately fascinated him. The city's banks had introduced an innovative practice. They issued banknotes in exchange for gold or silver coins, assessing their weight and purity. This system made it possible to avoid the transportation of large quantities of precious metal, greatly facilitating commercial transactions. Law immediately recognized the potential of this system. Banknotes were light, easy to transport, and above all, accepted by everyone as a means of payment thanks to the trust the Dutch banks had managed to build. Each banknote was backed by a corresponding value in gold or silver, a system that ensured user confidence and economic stability. After Amsterdam, Law continued his journey through Europe, arriving in Venice, another key financial center. Here, he deepened his study of the Venetian banking system, particularly the Banco di Rialto and the Banco del Giro, two institutions that issued banknotes in exchange for deposits of coins. These studies further solidified his ideas on creating an innovative banking system. Returning to Scotland and England, Law brought with him a wealth of knowledge that led him to write his most famous work, Money and Trade, Considered with a Proposal for Supplying the Nation with Money. Published in 1705, this work proposed a solution to one of the most pressing economic problems of the time, the scarcity of metallic currency, which was stifling the economic growth of many European countries. Law's idea was revolutionary, to establish a bank that would issue paper money backed not by precious metal, but by the value of land. Land, according to Law, represented a more stable and less volatile guarantee than gold and silver. His plan envisioned the creation of a commission of 40 members appointed by Parliament, tasked with managing the issuance and withdrawal of banknotes. This bank would have had a monopoly on issuing the new currency, a proposal that anticipated the modern concept of a central bank. Unfortunately, Law's ideas were not embraced either in England or Scotland. But Law did not give up and turned to France, a country in desperate straits. France in 1715 was a country impoverished, with enormous public debt and a population on the brink of collapse. Louis XIV, the Sun King, had just died, leaving the country in deep crisis. John Law saw an opportunity in this crisis. Already settled in Paris, Law had become friends with the regent, Philippe II, Duke of Orléans, the most powerful man in France. In 1715, Law presented the French finance minister with a bold plan to save France from default. He proposed the creation of a bank that would issue new paper money, no longer backed by land, but by the bank's profits and the state's revenues. The plan was ingenious: to withdraw the old devalued state bonds and issue a new form of money, with the aim of reducing the burden of interest on public debt and reviving the economy. To overcome the resistance of the French high society, which viewed the creation of a state bank with suspicion, Law proposed founding a private institution, similar to the Bank of England. In 1716, John Law founded the Banque Générale, a private bank that soon became the most influential financial institution in France. With the regent's support, Law managed to have his banknotes accepted as payment for taxes and debts to the state. This was a crucial step. Law's banknotes became de facto legal tender in France, equivalent to metallic currency and accepted even in international trade. In 1717, Law took another bold step, founding the Compagnie d'Occident, also known as the Mississippi Company. This joint stock company was granted exclusive rights to all trade between France and Louisiana, a French colony in North America. The Mississippi Company promised extraordinary returns thanks to the exploitation of the colony's natural resources. Law began selling shares in the company, offering the possibility to purchase them with his banknotes. The idea of investing in a land of opportunity like Louisiana sparked an unprecedented speculative frenzy. Investors rushed to buy shares in the Mississippi Company, driving prices to astronomical levels. In 1719, the Banque Générale was nationalized and renamed the Banque Royale, further consolidating Law's power. The speculative bubble, fueled by uncontrolled issuance of banknotes and investor enthusiasm, reached its peak in 1720. For a brief period, it seemed that John Law's vision was leading France into a new golden age. Banknotes spread rapidly, stock prices continued to rise, and the French economy seemed to have awakened from its slumber. Law, now Minister of Finance, appeared to have complete control over the French economy. But the speculative frenzy had a dark side. Expectations for Louisiana turned out to be grossly exaggerated. The colony could not produce the promised wealth, and the market for Mississippi Company shares began to show signs of weakness. Investors started selling their shares, trying to cash in their profits before prices dropped further. This triggered a domino effect that led to the collapse of the speculative bubble. When investors tried to convert their banknotes into gold and silver coins, they realized that the Banque Royale did not have enough reserves to cover all the demands. Confidence in the system collapsed, along with the value of Law's banknotes. Within months, the French economy was engulfed in panic and hyperinflation. Law desperately tried to save the system, proposing extreme measures such as withdrawing metallic coins from circulation and replacing them with paper money, but it was too late. His supporters abandoned him, and Law, now in danger, was forced to flee France in December 1720, leaving behind a country in ruins. John Law lived the rest of his life in exile, moving from one European country to another. He died in relative poverty in Venice in 1729, but his legacy continued to influence economic thought for centuries. Although his career ended in disaster, Law's ideas were far from those of a mere fraudster. The vision of a centrally managed currency, capable of stimulating the economy and facilitating trade, anticipated many of the practices of modern central banks. Today, The banking system that Law envisioned is a reality in almost all advanced economies, where central banks manage the money supply and credit to maintain economic stability. The story of John Law is a lesson on the possibilities and dangers of financial innovation. Was he a misunderstood genius or a bold fraudster? The answer is not simple, but one thing is certain. Law left an indelible mark on financial history, a mark that we can still see today in modern economic practices. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next mysteries of the economic world. But what's your opinion? Share it in the comments.